The Montreal Canadiens have traded goaltender Jake Allen. What did Kent Hughes get in return? I'm here to give you some instant analysis right now. Just over an hour before the close of business on the 2024 NHL deadline, Kent Hughes finally made a move and has traded goaltender Jake Allen to the New Jersey Devils. I'm here to give you my quick reaction, let you know what was involved in the trade, and give this trade an initial first impression grade. It's no secret that the Montreal Canadiens have been in a sticky situation with their goaltending this season, carrying 3 goaltenders on the roster for this long in the season. Kent Hughes even admitting that he wasn't necessarily trying to force a trade of one of those goaltenders before the deadline, that he was willing to go to the end of the season if need be, unless the right trade came along. And it seems like that happened with the New Jersey Devils. Here are the facts surrounding the trade. Montreal sends Jake Allen to New Jersey, and in return, they get a conditional 2025 third-round draft pick. The condition on that pick is that next season, the 2024-25 season, if Jake Allen plays at least 40 games for the Devils next season, that third-round pick in 2025 becomes a second-round pick. One other piece of that puzzle is that Montreal is retaining 50% of Jake Allen's $3.85 million cap hit, which obviously helped to sweeten the deal for New Jersey. Earlier this week, I actually sat down with Sportsnet analyst and founder of Pro Hockey Group, Jason Bukala, and we talked about the potential for whether or not Jake Allen would move before the deadline or not. And in case you missed that, here's what Jason Bukala had to say. Is there a market, a realistic market for Jake Allen right now?
For me personally, if I'm shopping in Jake Allen waters, it's probably because I've done my due diligence elsewhere and the cost has been not accommodating for what I was looking for. I like Jake in a certain situation, lots of structure in front. He's a veteran guy. Obviously, he's going to be low maintenance. He's going to be prepared. So, when you trade a veteran goaltender like that, if that happens, let's not forget, these are human beings, right? Families, wives, kids, all kinds of different things going on. So when you get a person that's already a veteran mindset in the league like him, that move gives me pause and I'm okay with that, right?
If you happen to miss that exclusive interview, we talked about a lot surrounding the Canadiens and the trade deadline. You'll find a link directly to watch that video at the end of this video. So what did Jake Allen have to say in the minutes following the announcement that he had been traded to the New Jersey Devils? Well, he did appear for a phone call on TSN's Trade Center with James Duthie and said a couple of interesting things. First off, that he was very excited about the possibilities ahead of him in moving to New Jersey. Said he, quote, wanted to try to get into a little bit of a rhythm again, both in practice and in gameplay. We know that the 3 goaltending rotation has not been ideal for any one of Montembeault, Allen, or Primo. And in fact, when Duthie asked Jake Allen, now that you're out of it, give us the real honest truth. What has that situation been like for you this season? He called it, quote, super difficult. Also said there were definitely days when you question a lot of things, but went on to say there are things that are beyond your control. You can't change them, so you just have to go out there and do the best you can with the situation that you are in. He did happen to give a bit of a nod to his fellow netminders, Sam Montembeault and Caden Primo, and said those guys worked really hard every day. They never complained, and they went out there and got the job done. So Jake Allen moving to New Jersey for that conditional third-round pick in 2025 that becomes a second-rounder if he plays at least 40 games for New Jersey next season. So my thoughts on that, I think it's a very good thing that Kent Hughes was able to move a goaltender at this stage. Now it's Sam Montembeault's crease. Caden Primo can start getting regular rotations as the backup, and they kind of have a bit of stability, at least between the pipes, between now and the end of the regular season. I also like this for Jake Allen. It's a good opportunity for him. He brings some experience into the New Jersey locker room. Certainly a veteran netminder like him will have a lot to offer to that dressing room, and I think it's a great new scene for him as well. Getting a third-round draft pick back for Jake Allen, I think, is a very fair deal. The second would be better, but the likelihood of him playing 40 games next year is a big question mark for me because we don't yet know what New Jersey plans to do about their goaltending situation left next year. Remember, Jake Allen has another year left on his contract, but that doesn't necessarily mean that New Jersey is going to stick with him as kind of the guy to go to next season. So I'm going to kind of hedge my bet here and say that it's more likely that the Canadiens will end up with just a third-round draft pick. If they get the second by some miracle, then that's just kind of a bonus. But a third-round draft pick is not a bad return for Jake Allen at this point. My issue comes actually with the salary retention on this. Okay, the 50% salary retention, I certainly understand wanting to sweeten the deal and encourage New Jersey to go through with the deal. However, like I just said, Jake Allen has another year left on his contract. So that means not only are the Canadiens going to fill their final salary retention slot for this season, but now they're also going to be paying for Jake Allen next year as well, which is not ideal moving forward. And I'm going to get into more of that next week when I have the full 2024 Montreal Canadiens trade deadline review and grade. But for this trade, at this moment, I'm going to give Kent Hughes a B on this trade, mostly because I think it's good for Jake Allen. I think it's good for New Jersey. And it's really good for Montreal to finally be done with this 3-goaltender rotation. It drug on way too long, and I'm glad to see that wrapped up before the end of the season. As I mentioned a few moments ago, I did sit down earlier this week with Sportsnet's Jason Bukala. We had an extensive conversation about the Montreal Canadiens and Kent Hughes' strategies and priorities going into this trade deadline, what he might or might not do. And if you missed that, it was a fascinating conversation. You can check out that video right here, and I will see you next week to talk about the entire Habs trade deadline.